Thank you very much. His Excellency, the Vice President, Dr. Mabudu Bawumia. Ernest de Graft, the Chair, the CEO of the CEO Summit, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be asked to say a few words and also take the chair for the purposes of this occasion. And it's an honor that I will be announcing shortly whether I accept or not. But it's interesting when businesses meet the politicians and those who are in charge of the economy. And it is very important that such interactions occur much more often than we currently have. The theme, of course, is reinvigorating the business sector, so to speak, and to shorten it, with reference to aspects of the manifestos that deal with the economy and the business sector. And I'm sure that you'll be sharing insights from your angle. But before that, permit me to say a few things that I generally do not find in manifestos when I read them. The first is unity. No divided people can progress. It's never happened anywhere. It's our divisiveness that led us into slavery and colonialism for 400 years, 200 for slavery and 200 for colonialism. And we seem not to have learned much from that. Everything divides us. Multi-party democracy, which was meant to be a set of ideas that we compete about, has ended up dividing us so much that everything becomes politics. I will give just one example. Is IMF good or bad? I have no position on this. But I wish that as a nation, we can unite around whether IMF is good or bad. And if it is good, then we all agree on how to go to IMF. If it is bad, then we all agree why we shouldn't go to IMF. It does not really sit well with me when every party in opposition says IMF is bad and every party in government says IMF is good, even though we have gone there 17 times. 2, a sense of focus and a sense of agency. We tend to have vision, which very often we do not focus on, and I'm not referring to a particular party. The invitation given to me indicated that the two parties were going to be here, or the two leaders are going to be here. So I'm not referring to a particular person or a particular party. Now, I said to the Institution of Engineering last week when I had the chance to address them that one of the things politicians forget is how to count. We appear to forget that 4 years is 48 months. And therefore, we lose a sense of agency until it is close to the time. And I will suggest that we have that sense of agency and focus. In a recent interview I granted to TV3, I made one prediction. Now, for those of you who know, I make predictions every year. My predictions tend to come true. Just yesterday, I was on air with Bernard Avile because of the prediction I made that Trump was going to win, and that was on January 18th. I also predicted that by August, President Biden had to decide whether he was going to remain on the ballot or not. So even when I came here today, a few people have asked me about Ghana's prediction. I am not going to make any prediction. But just so I whet your appetite, in 2017, I predicted that President Mugabe was not going to end the year. And it happened. And somebody very high up in the US called me to ask, what did you know that we didn't know? I'm no prophet, but I have certain factors in making predictions. Having said that, the only prediction I will leave with you tonight is that Ghanaians are not going to have patience for the next government, irrespective of who takes power. Ghanaians are not going to have patience. And I made that prediction on TV3. And therefore, I highly recommend a sense of focus and a sense of agency, whoever takes power. Point number 3, not everyone who follows you is supporting you. And not everyone who is not following you is against you. Some of the people who follow you are people who are actually either looking for their daily bread or waiting for an opportunity to push you away or waiting for an opportunity for you to fail. And some of the people who do not wear party t-shirts are actually people who are ready waiting to support for you to achieve success. And I tweeted exactly on this topic on April 23rd this year. And I suggest that when we look at our manifestos, we look at these things as well. Next, meritocracy. It's important that we create an ecosystem where persons with merit, even within the parties, are the ones who are given responsibilities. Because even if you go within the parties, you'll find that many of the people who otherwise have merit are sidestepped just because they say things as they are. Next, business is business and must not be treated as politics. And on this score, I recommend that state-owned enterprises be made to run as businesses. I don't belong to the school which believes that government has no business doing business. I believe governments have business doing business, but it must do it as business. Next, transparency. And I believe transparency will help eradicate corruption fast. Next is how the regulatory sector and the politicians regularly interact with businesses and share ideas. And I recommend we have more of such. And the presence of His Excellency the Vice President here today is evidence to me that perhaps this is the beginning of many such things to happen going forward. And we can collectively work together to find a solution, because whatever challenges we face are challenges, if we work together, we can overcome. But I cannot sit down without admonishing the private sector too, because at times we make it look that all the fault is with the public sector. The private sector is partly to blame. Ghanaians are very strange people. When it comes to funerals, churches, birthdays, weddings, we come together. So we appear to be a very collective people. But when it comes to advocating for businesses, as soon as one business gets an advantage, then it shuts up and allows the rest to suffer. So we are what I call a collective and individualistic people. And it is important that businesses come together to interact with politicians as business together, because it is our collective action that will let politicians take us serious. If we are divided, then they will take advantage and divide us in the same way we were divided and colonized. So if we are united, then we will check them so that they don't bloat public sector debt and tax us with a view that they are satisfying the macro by killing the micro. And I think businesses have a responsibility, and these are some of the things that we need to pay attention to. As I indicated, I believe there will be many more such regular interactions, and it is in the hope that this will occur, irrespective of who wins power, that His Excellency, I agree to chair the occasion. Thank you.